The debut, or the premiere rather, happens at In Your House 4. It's a pay per view that was just 2 hours. This is when In Your House is still a relatively new thing. And in between the big pay per views, rather than a 3 hour, $30 extravaganza, we'll hit you with a little $15 or $19 2 hour show. And that's what we've got here. He's going to wrestle Marty Jannetty, 11 minutes and 15 seconds. Here's what Meltzer had to say. Goldust was given an elaborate ring entrance with stars from the lights. The lights turned down and glitter. However, once he took off his wig, he looked like a banana with black ears. The two were trying, and Jannetty took nice bumps, but they just didn't work well together and missed a lot of spots. More importantly, the crowd didn't react to the gimmick. When it was over, it came off as much ado about nothing. Boy, patience. We needed a little patience with this character still.
Yeah, absolutely. It's evolving, and it's not going to evolve in a week or 2 weeks or 2 or 3 months. It's going to take time, and you don't know exactly when the ignite button is going to be depressed or pressed, whatever the proper adverb is. I think they're adverbs. Misclassed that day. But yeah, that wasn't a good match, but you got Goldust on television, got people talking a little bit. Marty was cold. Marty, his great runs were Sean back in the day, and that was a long time apart. There's some distance there. So it didn't do what we wanted it to do, but we got started. And we knew it wasn't going to be an easy race. But if we stuck with it, as unique as it was, we'll be okay.
Yeah, you were more than okay. It's going to work out, but it almost didn't that night. Goldust would say that the match wasn't great, and he blamed his nerves and the fact that Marty Jannetty was late to the building. Can you believe that? Marty Jannetty was unreliable. So they just didn't have a chance to go over their match as much as they would have looked for. And really, when you go back and look at the match, I mean, Goldust misses a clothesline at the start, and Jannetty actually dominates the first few minutes of the match. And I guess maybe that's not that big a deal, but after all the vignettes and this thing's been built up, it did feel like, well, Goldust is going to go out and eat him up. That didn't exactly happen. Do you think in hindsight, Goldust should have had an enhancement?
It should have been more aggressive.
Yeah.
You should have taken more of the match.
There you go.
I needed to see Goldust on the offense more. And it wasn't a typical TV match. You got one shot to get this guy's first exposure over, and we failed there. And that wasn't Goldust's fault. He didn't book the match. And I don't know why Marty was late. Apparently that wasn't too unusual. But in any event, it was just poorly executed from the time they walked in the building until they showered.
Goldust makes his Monday Night Raw debut a week later, beating Savio Vega. And Dustin would even write in the book that the suit started to become challenging to wrestle in. But that keeps us going to Survivor Series 95. It went down November 19th in Landover, Maryland. One of the worst pay-per-views in WWE history. There's about 8,000 paid there. Goldust is going to beat Bam Bam Bigelow. So we've at least got some name recognition for his opponents here in Marty Jannetty, Savio Vega, and Bam Bam Bigelow. Meltzer said of the match, though, that was one with the bulldog headlock in about 8 minutes. Quote, Goldust ring entrance is supposed to be the heel equivalent of Undertaker's, but it came off as long and boring. The two didn't work well together, although not from a lack of effort. Man, it feels like Meltzer not a big fan of the Goldust character so far. So here we go. Just a few months before WrestleMania, Bam Bam's in the main event against Lawrence Taylor. And now he's a smiling baby face, clapping to his ring music and putting over Goldust. Why did Bam Bam Bigelow not do more in the WWF? It feels like he was just not a favorite of Vince. Did he fall out of favor with Vince somehow?
I think he was burned out.
I see.
I mean, Vince loves athletic big men. Certainly Bam Bam Bigelow was an athletic big man, super heavyweight, about as athletic as any super heavyweight I can remember ever working with. So I don't think he burned out. I think Bam Bam was a different animal at times. I'm not saying he was moody, and it might have been drug influence. I'm not sure. Don't know. But he had a very unique personality. Some days he was up, some days he was down. And that may be a sign of other issues. Apparently it was. Because I never knew that he was had drug and alcohol issues till later in the race. Because he just seemed to be normal and happy-go-lucky and just a jolly big guy.
Right.
It was just happened to be very, very athletic. I think he needed some time off, to be honest with you.
One of the things.
Guys,
go ahead.
I was going to say that guys usually get themselves in a financial position, Conrad, where they can't afford to take time off. You don't work, you don't get paid. So whether you're in a good mood or bad mood, whether you're achy, hurting, need surgery, you're going to postpone that, whatever, or you're not forthcoming with your injuries or how you feel, it's generally because of paranoia, and their guys and gals are afraid to lose their quote unquote spot. You lose your spot, it's challenging, man. Those world changes.
Well, the world was changing with Goldust here. They're doing a split screen with a pre-recorded promo. He's still quoting movies, and right before he gets ready to wrestle, he puts his wig on the ring post, which I think is kind of fun. He wins this match against Bam Bam with the Bulldog.
Yeah, why the Bulldog? We're just going to get back to cowboys and Indians and Daddy wore boots and Mama sang tenor, whatever. Come on.
Well, I thought it was fun because that's what he used as a finish as the natural, didn't he? In WCW?
I don't want him to be the fucking natural, Conrad.
I'm not arguing that.
I want him to be something else. Look at his costuming, his appearance, his ring attire, his voice, his interviews, everything's different. Or go back to an old finish that was okay, but it kind of seen its day.
I think he went back to the old finish because he might not have been able to perform the other finish, the suplex finish on Bam Bam. Maybe he thought it wouldn't look as good since he's a bigger fellow. I don't know.
I'd have had him beat him with a fucking small package, have him pull the tights, cheat to win. And because you can manage that with a 400-pound guy like Bigelow was. It makes the Bigelow's opponent a little bit more limited on what they can execute well. And so that's what I'd say. In hindsight's pretty accurate for all of us.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson here to tell you a little more about what adfreeshows.com is all about. Get early, ad-free access to more than a dozen of your favorite wrestling podcasts every single week, starting at just $9. That's less than 20 cents an episode each month. And yes, you can listen to them all directly through Apple Podcasts or your regular podcast apps. How easy is that? Ad-free shows also has thousands of hours worth of bonus content and docuseries like Title Chase, Eric Fires Back, Conversations with Conrad, and The Insiders. Plus new series like The Book with David Crockett, Monday Mailbags with Mike Chioda and Nick Patrick, and a whole lot more. And you want to talk about early? You can't get any earlier than listening to the shows live. You can be a part of the live studio audience as we record the podcast. Plus, ride shotgun alongside your favorite childhood heroes for live watch-alongs, Q&As, and other interactive experiences every single month. Come on now, see for yourself what thousands of other wrestling fans from around the world have discovered, that adfreeshows.com is the best value in wrestling. Check it out today, and hey, when you do, the first week is completely free. adfreeshows.com.